Now, sometime around noon today, you notice the productivity in the office plummets somewhere near zero. It's why today is one of the best days in sports. NCAA basketball tournament, better known to some folks who never even heard of these teams until today, as March Madness has begun in earnest. Odds are your bracket, you know, for the most part, I think the chalk held, right? I mean, there's a few upsets, and some of them were predictable, but I did pick Harvard. Now, if you are lucky enough to win some cash in your office pool, you will be one of the many, many people who profit from March Madness. Current TV deal gives the NCAA and its schools here nearly $11 billion, that's with a B, through 2024. But none of that money goes to the people taking all the risks. I'm talking about the players. Recent study says top athletes in big-name basketball and football programs will lose more than $6 billion in earnings through just next year. Okay. I love college sports, and as a son of the South here in Louisiana, it's a religion when we're talking SEC football. That said, the president was asked about this, and he did an artful dodge on it, where he wasn't asked if they should or shouldn't be paid. He did say scholarships should be honored even if they're injured. There should be a better way to make sure that they graduate. There's a prominent attorney that's taken up a lawsuit right now that really was one of the fathers of one of the suits that really brought free agency to one of the major four pro sports. There's a real chance between this and the O'Bannon suit. The college sports as we know it is going to have to change if there's going to be some wealth redistribution, to use your term, for the players in this. Can college sports survive if they pay players? Forget about if it's right or wrong. Can they survive?
Of course they can survive. This is untenable. This is an indefensible system where every single body else makes money except the people who are on the field or on the court. It is morally wrong. It is unfair on any kind of distribution system. And you know what? It's going to change. And there would be two ways it would change. Either the athletes could form a union, and I know that's going to go.
There's already a few kids. Northwestern quarterbacks.
And you know what? Maybe they ought to say, you know, negotiate with us as a group. We're not going one-on-one. Or the courts are going to say, this is just fundamentally wrong. Slavery is unconstitutional in our society now. These are truly the last free workers.
But there are a couple sides in this. And I can come down to either side based upon how it comes out at the end. Because when you have it's a haves and have-nots. It's the Yankees versus the teams out in the middle of nowhere that don't have the same TV contracts situation here. Like the Mets. One of my, we talked about this morning on the radio show briefly, a buddy of mine who went to Stepanak with us, Marty Conlon, I watched him play his freshman year for Rick Pitino in the Final Four. What did he get through college? He ended up getting a scholarship, didn't have to pay for it, got an NBA deal afterwards and started going on the NBA.
The school got $1 zillion.
And the school got a lot more. And also, but for that, I saw him in college night and day, studying, working out,
But
all
here's
year
the
long.
point about Marty. No, wait, here's the point about your buddy.
All year
Providence College. Certainly, and at the time, the Big East was more prominent at the time.
Sure.
Providence College had to drop their baseball program. I know some of the principals involved in it because, there's too much information maybe, Title IX came down. Title IX says, hey, I got daughters. I believe in Title IX. But you have to offer, if not equal, near equal number of college sports teams for the female population on campus as you do for the men. As a consequence, football and basketball make money. Name any other sport that really makes money for a college. They don't. So now you take out the SEC, the Big Ten, some other conferences here, Big 8. These guys don't make a lot of money. If now all of a sudden you got to pay, my question is, is it a Pyrrhic victory? Do you lose all the other sports that don't bring in revenue that football and basketball subsidize?
The honest answer is it might be. And it might mean that there isn't a lacrosse team at some school somewhere. But there's just something wrong with it. That's not the problem of the fullback.
Subsidizing. You see the government coming in and saying, you watch, because they're going to come in and the federal government's going to get it. Because once you have unions, you're going to have the federal government coming in with regulations. And then, because you're going to take away, all of a sudden, we're going to, what about the girls? We got Title IX. We're going to get, and also, you know, this goes back a very similar point to the minimum wage.
So
what's so high? Are you going to give the same money? Are you going to give the same money to the scrub on the end of the bench who doesn't contribute anything, doesn't have a scholar? You're going to give the same to him as you do to
Tom, you were at Syracuse, right? And you saw firsthand, and you dealt with the athletic department there.
And saw big money.
Right.
And I was responsible for the athletes from a residence.
And you were there when the Carrier Dome actually got filled up, right? So I guess my question is, did you walk away saying, please, these guys should be seeing a piece of the pie here? do they get shuffled through the system? Is there a way that you can change it so if they don't get paid or they get a stipend but not a real share, that the school's got to honor their scholarship for the full 4 years. They got to spend what they got to spend to help these kids get through here and not cut them loose if they blow out a knee here or don't pan out the way they want. Is there a happy medium, or do you either have to pay them or you don't?
Richard, let me ask you a question. The coach at Syracuse, Jim Boeheim, I don't know his salary. What do you think he makes? He's been there about 30 years.
More than $2 million a year, easy.
I would probably say about $8 to $9 million.
You know what? And when you were there, he made less than $2.
Okay, all right, so he makes $2 million
No, less
a
than
year.
$200,000. He made less than $200,000
Okay.
before the Big
Anyway,
East tournament
so-
stuff kicked in.
Okay, all right. So the coach is getting paid.
Yep.
What do you think the athletic director is being paid? Several hundred thousand.
At least $1 million.
Quarter mil.
Plus,
So-
plus the coach, to be your point, he gets a piece of the sneaker contract
That's right.
that the
That's
players
right. That's
wear.
right. That's right. That's right. Do the players get to decide whether or not they're going to wear Nike? Do they have any decision in that? Do the players get any take from the concession stand? Syracuse does about 30,000 a basketball game.
Right.
That's bigger than the New York Knicks. Do the players get any of that?
Nope.
But yet, Boeheim and every coach in America is in every housing project in America looking for the next buck that's going to take him to the promised land. Everybody's getting paid except for the athletes. They don't even have phone cards to call home. It's disgusting.
And this
They
is-
should be paid.
And this is what I'm saying is a slippery slope. We have to determine where we can come down to
What's
make it
the
fair.
slope?
No, no,
What's the
no,
slope?
no. And that's what I'm saying, to figure out where that line stops. Because I agree, they deserve something.
Yeah.
First off,
What's wrong with the market? Don't you like the market?
the sneaker contracts are
to the
part of it.
market?
But here's the next thing: they're using players' likenesses. This is where the lawsuit comes in on the games on TV, on the video games.
the likeness,
At what
yeah.
point
You
do
know,
you
I
take
guess
your likeness?
morally, I know you guys are right. Instinctively, it's just please, okay? But selfishly, as a fan, you know that once they go down this road, 162 teams or whatever, however many, only about 50 are going to be able to afford it anymore.
Why not a progressive tax scheme where the highest earning sports at the highest earning schools give a little bit of that money to make sure that the players are intact, that their futures are taken care of
Yeah.
if they get injured, that they can get their scholarships all the way through. And it's a progressive tax system that redistributes the wealth in a way that is to everybody's benefit.
And here's the other thing.
Oh, I'm sorry, that can't possibly
Well,
happen.
You know what
in
just
America.
happened? We got to stop there
But no,
because
wait,
this,
wait,
we
what
went
about
off the
having
edge
them
here because
finish
that
for
actually made sense.
4
All right.
years? What about making sure they stay 4 years to
Yeah,
get that
have
stuff
them
too?
stay. They don't
Instead
come
of
in.
leaving after 2 years. That's a big
They're
part of
in,
it
they're
too, I
out.
think.
One and done.
Okay. Coming up next here, Chris Christie, he talks Bridgegate. Governor not backing off the topic during a town hall meeting that got kind of heated in Jersey today. That and a lot more after the break.